In our meeting, thank you all for being here tonight. We are going to start with our Taking Positive Steps of Service Award.
All right. So, we have a couple high school students who came and helped me recently, and two of them, Jalen Breinig and Bentley Smith, are sick, unfortunately. But so taking positive steps of service, these students are nominated for this recognition for their willingness to help LES and OSC students understand what it means to be determined to be our best. As cast from the Music Man musical, these students were able to explain the work and the benefit of being our best in everything we do, including being part of a musical. These students shared that being determined to be our best requires perseverance, means we recognize challenges, help us learn and grow, motivates us to face challenges head on, helps us trust we have the support of others when needed, and means we work to bring out the best in others. So thank you, Jalen, Kyle, Tessa, and Bentley, for taking the time out of your day to help students understand the important LES and OSC community value. Students look up to you, and you made a positive impact on our learning community, so thank you for being guardians of Lodi Pride. $100,000 for doing this. Yeah. Anything you want to say? You guys want to say?
I'm all good for today.
There you go.
I just had basketball practice.
We're going to take your picture in front of the iPad. Do you want to go with Eric? Derek Birdsborn, why don't you go take a picture of your daughter, please?
So cute. Aw, yeah.
Appreciate it. Good job.
Unfortunately, we were going to have a music group here today. Hopefully they can come later. For the same reason, we only had half of our 4 here. Only half of the music group was available to come sing. The Breakfast Club, who sang at the State Education Convention, so most of the board got to see them perform. We were, so hopefully we can get them in March if it works on their calendar, and they're all healthy.
Yes, that would be nice.
They were fantastic.
They did awesome.
They were wonderful.
I would be very excited to watch them again. Okay, now we have a presentation though from our Thailand exchange students.
So I'm Mr. Fossbender. I'm the town, or was the town exchange coordinator for the last 10 years, but I'm still kind of in the role. So let me introduce to you Katie Fry, Hunter Lorang, Lawrence Wood, and Finn Berg. And they are 4 of our travelers that went to Suphanburi, Thailand for the talent exchange. And we always think it's important to share what they learn and what cultural experiences they have. So they prepared a nice presentation for you. So unlike the other high school students, they're going to be forced to actually talk and present to you. So I will let them take it away. And Tyler, do we have the clicker, or how should we do that?
There.
Who wants to be in charge of clicking?
So we should be okay.
So you want them to present from like over in that corner?
No, I mean, they can go up there. We just
How about
need-
I click?
There you go.
I will click.
Okay,
and
you
you guys
guys
go in
come to the
front.
center.
You guys go in front by the presentation.
Yeah.
You just give me the
Easier.
signal of
You
when to
can
click
tell
and I will
Mr.
click.
Glasbender what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, just direct me.
Hello, welcome to our presentation about our talent exchange in Suphanburi, Thailand. My name is Finn.
I'm Katie.
I'm Hunter.
So to start off, we'll be talking about the schedule over in Suphanburi. We'll be talking about the classrooms, the students, and the location. So to start off with, we'll talk about the students. There are about 1,500 students in Suphanburi in Sangwon School, and here over there in the top left corner, you can see a photo with all of us and some of the students. Over in the top left, we can see the big outside auditorium they had. This is where all the students would gather at the start of the day, which leads into my next topic about the schedule. So the schedule is very different than ours. It's kind of similar to the Germany one, where students have different schedules based on what classes they take. So sometimes your school, it would just end at like 3:13, other times it would go all the way until 6 or possibly even later. The school is,
Oops, sorry, Finn.
you're all right. And over in the bottom right corner is Mr. Chop. And we all love Mr. Chop. And we had a couple of other teachers that would accompany us to all of our escapades and trips. We had Mr. Sid and a few others. I'm so sorry I cannot remember the name on the spot. And finally, we'll talk about the location, which I think is the best part because it is just so beautiful. In the bottom right corner over there, we have the dragon statue in Suphanburi. It is actually a really cool Chinese history exhibit, but like more of Chinese mythology, not actual history. Can you click? And these next 4 photos are a little bit more personal. In the top left, we have Lawrence over there. While we were doing the stretching game, I'm right behind him, as you can see. In the top left, we have Mr. Sid, and behind that, Ms. Melcher. They're watching a presentation because at one point we all decided to give presentations about our wonderful community here in Lodi. In the bottom left, we have some of our students, me, Lawrence, Jacob, Charlotte, and someone else who I can't listen.
Ella, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, Charlotte, oh, thank you. And the bottom right, another great part about the school is the buses. They're just so much better than our buses.
Hey now.
I mean, would you believe they have Wi-Fi? I mean, it doesn't work at all, it sucks. But they do have it. It's the thought that counts. And the seats are,
conditioning.
yep, and get this, seat belts.
No.
Nobody uses.
Yeah, nobody uses them, but they
But
have
they
them.
have them, right?
Great thing.
Okay, next up, everybody's favorite part of traveling, food. So, this is one of the lunches I had there at school. There are like so many options for school lunch. You can get soups, you can get takoyaki, you can get noodles, and they're all so healthy and so nutritious. And there's also so much variety and like seasonings and toppings you can put on the food. I miss the food. Over here we have some Thai tea and coffee. I'm usually not a big coffee person, but the coffee in Thailand is amazing. Here we have toast with sweetened condensed milk, which became one of my favorite sort of unhealthy breakfasts while I was there. And then Ovaltine, which I hear is actually an off-brand of some American brand, but I don't know, Thai people love their off-brand stuff. That's something I learned. So, it's really delicious, and it became one of my like favorite drinks with breakfast. My host family and I would like drink this with breakfast every day. So here we have the chocolate milk. The chocolate milk and strawberry milk we had there was almost better than ours here, actually, because they kind of like make it different at every single place you go to. So that, and then this is daifuku, which is kind of like mochi, if any of you guys know about it. It's traditionally like rice dough filled with red bean paste, but here I believe this is grape, chocolate, blueberry, and matcha. And then here are our plate stacks for revolving sushi, which if you go to the next slide, there's another picture. Oh wait, this is Lekathong dinner. So Lekathong is a cultural holiday they have there to celebrate the river god, and this is just what we had for dinner here. And then this is revolving sushi. So it's super fun because it's a really low stakes way to try a whole bunch of different like sushi dishes. Because you only get like a couple bites per plate, but the plates are super cheap, so it's a lot of fun. And then here's some more of the street food. And bugs. They had big like street food sections of bugs, which I know might be kind of gross to some people, but I actually really enjoyed having the experience to try crickets, which Alana kindly shared with me. And here are just some more pictures of me with my host having dinner.
Field trips. Probably one of my favorite parts about going there was all the different fun places we went. So, so we went to a lot of museums. That one, the biggest plan. That one was like a big room of just a huge like wall that had like Thai history kind of like engraved inside of it. It was really cool. There was multiple museums. There was a one that was like full of gold, like a bunch of Thai gold stuff. That's like a, I don't even know what that is. It's like a tower thing or something. And then Thai History Museum. Rice Farm, the place was really big. There was a lot of stuff. There was this big old tower that was like 3 or 4 floors, I think. It was tall. So tall that I thought the building was gonna fall over with how many of us were at the top. But yeah, and then there was a little swing area that was like above like a little pond. It was really, there was like a waterfall kind of like coming up, so you'd be just swinging over a huge like little river. So that was fun. There's a photo of the rice farm. They had a bunch of like wooden little like, I don't want to call them like amusement. There's like a wooden carousel and like a little wooden helicopter, which Katie got in, so that was fun. And then there was the big old windmill over there. Elephant camp, probably one of my favorite field trips. You got to pet elephants. We got to ride on top of elephants. They were fun. One of the elephants kissed me and it hugged me, so that was fun. And then we also went on a little river raft ride. The Hellfire Pass. This is a historic World War II area where a bunch of Australian, I think it was
Australian and British.
Yeah, Australian and British prisoners were being held captive by Japan, I believe, and basically they were forced to dig out a pass through this mountain for like a railroad, and I don't know, it was a really neat experience to just go see all the work that these people had to do. There was multiple museums we went to. There's some of the stuff that families of the people that were prisoners there, like put little, what do you call them?
Mementos?
Yeah, little mementos to their family members. Then there was a museum we went to afterwards that had more stuff for people to put stuff at, along with depicting some of the harsh reality the people had to face. And then there was a train ride we took to get to some of the museums over there. There was a really cool view. And then there's a little graveyard area that was there too, yeah.
Right, so that unfortunately transitions us into the more historical trips that we took. Like, firstly, one of our first trips we went on was to Wat Pa Lilai, which is the largest golden Buddha statue that was in Suphanburi, which you can see there. It doesn't really do it justice. I might be the size of maybe its ankle. Like, you just look up, and it's like a very tall building. That was really fun. We got to learn like how like they worship, how they pray, and all that cool stuff. And then separately, I went with a few other people to Wat Khao Tam Tiam, which is a giant Buddha statue carved into the face of a mountain. I don't know if you can see that. Those are people for reference. It's very big. And they got like a temple carved into the rock also, and they're currently building kind of a walkway along the side of this cliff. I thought it was super cool. All this was just it was my jam. And this was probably the coolest thing for me. I'm going to be saying all this is very cool, just be aware of that. Ayutthaya, this was like the old capital of Thailand, and apparently, according to legend, it was like covered in gold. Like all of these buildings were either gilded or just straight up covered in gold. And then it was attacked and raided by some, I believe, Burmese people, and they destroyed it, and they took all the gold. So now it's just really cool stone buildings that they've really held together considering it's been thousands of years. I thought it was awesome. Then during the Royal Park, we went up from Suphanburi to Chiang Mai, which is way in the north. It's like the biggest city in the north. It's very important. And there we went to the Royal Park, which there's a beetle, because you gotta have a beetle in your park. There was a kind of temple or castle. It was like a municipality building, kind of, for like the king and the governor of the area. You can see that there. We weren't allowed inside. There's some,
Oh, I got inside.
Oh yeah, we went inside.
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
No, we were there like way early. Like we biked all the way up to the palace.
There
That was
was-
the first place we went.
there was
We
like
found one
yellow
little
and-
area there wasn't caution tape around. We were like,
There was something in there too, and so we hung out pictures.
Well, I would have liked to
oh yeah,
see
that's
That's what I didn't see apparently that I could have. Bummer. Anyway. So there had like all these fountains, and it was like a really long park. So like you start out around here with the fountains, and then back there is the thing that I didn't see. Then another thing in Chiang Mai was the Wat Pra Tat Doi Sutet. I butchered that. It's been a while since I've heard that name spoken by a Thai person, to be fair. So this was up in the mountains. It was like a temple in the mountains. As you can see, a lot of gold. Gold's their thing. And it was really cool. We like saw monks. We walked around and learned more about it. Once again, it was super cool. Yeah.
How'd you get up there, by the way, Lawrence?
Oh, that's right. Well, we took a kind, like it was,
Taxi.
taxi. It was like a red kind of open vehicle that had a roof, and there was like wind and all that fun stuff. They had lovely fans that really didn't help. It was a nice bumpy ride. I was having a blast, but other people looked a little like, I'm car sick. Anyway, I was having fun.
It's 5,000 feet up and it's switchbacks.
Oh, it was a beautiful view, but some people were not looking. They were looking for
I would not be able to.
And then one of the last things we did, we went to the Grand Palace in Bangkok, which is the current capital. I took 1 million photos of this, which Katie can testify to, since she's still asking me for them. No, you're not getting them. You'd have to pay for quality photos like that. So, actually that one is mine, so you preview. Everything was gilded and like tiled. It was all very shiny. It was very crowded, which was a bummer. Like there's a lot of people there the day we went. But we saw, this is a place where you weren't supposed to take photos and people were still doing it. But that's the Buddha, that's like one of the big like temple parts. This was actually like the main palace. It was huge. Like it's a palace, but it's a palace in a palace in a palace. It's very fun. And with that, does anyone have any questions about this?
I have a question. So first, I'm just so excited because the 4 of you are so excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great. And it's so great that we can give you the opportunity to get this excited over something, right? So you showed uniforms in there, and you guys were wearing those uniforms. So should we adopt uniforms here?
No.
Why not?
I think you have to wash them every day. Like we had 2 uniforms, and we had to keep cycling them back, and I felt bad for like all the laundry my host grandma had to do.
Girls have skirts.
Yeah, it'd be cold here.
My daughter went her junior year, and it's great to see these pictures and just, makes me reminisce on her trip and the uniform we still have in our house, and
It's a good music.
If you got to go back and do one thing, what would each of you do?
Go in the building that
I think he's rubbing it in.
I just enjoyed spending time with my host family. I'd probably just stick around with them.
Yeah, I'd like to spend more time with my host family.
I'm glad you're all sentimental. I want to get that.
he just wants.
By the way, I have to give Finn and Hunter and Lawrence some extra credit, by the way, because not only do you have to wear a uniform at school, but if you're a boy, you have to have short hair above your ears. And so all 3 of them, and actually Jacob as well, I had known about this, but I wasn't totally sure. And then Chot came and visited in October and was in class with them and was like, oh yeah, they need to cut their hair. And so they had to basically go under the shears before they actually left. And Lawrence in particular, let me tell you, if you see pictures of Lawrence, had beautiful long hair. And so they sacrificed quite a bit to actually make the trip. So good kudos for them.
I have a question too.
Wait, we missed one.
Go ahead.
What I would do, I'd go back and I'd play basketball with the Thais and beat them again.
person that could dunk.
I still can't dunk. It's a shame. I'm 6'3" and I can't dunk.
So at the elephant camp, you have a picture of people riding the elephants through the water. Did you do that?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So
And
cool.
don't let Katie fool you. Our elephant was the fastest.
It was the fact, we won that race. We won that race.
It was advantage merely because yours was tiny.
It was mobile, okay?
Just because you were on the stable first doesn't mean you didn't.
Yeah, we sat there waiting for like 7 minutes for you guys to catch up, and all of a sudden they're like, we won! No,
Yeah, we got the bananas.
We did get the banana, that's true.
Tell them what the other elephant did. I got a video of a really cool elephant
Oh,
activity.
playing soccer? They could play soccer.
Oh, yeah, they also painted stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, we shot him.
Not that one.
You guys did great presenting, by the way. This has been awesome. Really good.
Yeah,
Are
good
you
job.
all juniors, seniors?
I'm a senior.
Senior?
I'm a junior.
Sophomore.
Junior.
Sophomores can go now?
Yeah, freshmen could go, right?
No? Because they have to register in 8th grade.
Oh, yeah, that's right, okay, sorry.
Sarah, did you have a question? Sorry.
Well,
One of you.
Oh, yeah, one of us.
One Sarah.
I would recommend, if you're able, my daughter was able to go on both trips, just based on numbers. She had applied for the Germany trip after the Thailand trip. And
I've already,
Me and Lawrence have been.
yeah,
We went to Germany.
Awesome.
and I've already been on the Spain exchange, so I think I have to be done with exchanges,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
they were the highlights of her high school, so good for you for all going.
And there is a way you can get into that building. You just have to come back as an alumni and be a chaperone.
Yeah, right.
I gotta get a job here.
No, you don't need it. You can just be an alumni and a chaperone. But you can come back.
Anything else, you guys? No. That was really enjoyable.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
JP, thank you for doing that for them.
Yeah.
That was great. Yes.
I'm going back this summer. That's for my fellowship.
So without kids, like.
Without kids, yeah. So I'm
Are you going solo?
going solo. Yeah, I
I'm
asked
looking
her-
at a
I-
different
I-
part of the
I-
room, as you
hey,
can tell.
Just so you know, I asked her to come. No. So you know how Mr. Cole retired from distance education? So, our distance education program specifically is US history. But the Thai school also wants us to teach public speaking. So I'm teaching public speaking to 8th graders this summer for June, July, and August. And it's actually, it's not through Lodi, it's directly through Sawon Yang. But I asked my wife, I said, would you mind if I went there for a month and taught in person to the 8th grade students? And she was like, sure, go ahead. So.
Please go.
Don't do that.
Yeah, she's like, get out of here. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's, I mean, the experience that you're giving the kids is just, it's awesome.
As a reminder, the board voted I should go to Thailand this summer too at some point, so.
I don't remember that, Vincent.
Actually, he's even more important than me because he's
Yeah, I
signed the
know.
MOU.
So, at some point this summer, I'm going to Thailand as well.
At the same time that,
At some point,
Jake,
maybe,
okay.
yeah, we haven't.
And actually,
figured that out
just so
yet.
you know, there are 4 students that are,
Former students.
2 of them are already a year out of school, and 2 of them will graduate this spring. And I've got 4 young ladies taking advantage of the study tour MOU, and they'll be going to Supinbury for about a month this summer, and they'll be acting as teaching assistants, so they're taking advantage of the study tour MOU.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you. That was really enjoyable. All right, on to consent agenda items.
Go back to that.
I know. We have our minutes. We have our vouchers. We have fundraiser request, girls soccer. We have fundraiser report, the fall musical cookie booth fundraiser, our FFA fruit sales, and our wrestling barbecue dinner fundraiser. We have a field trip request, baseball tournament. We have our committee recommendations. other, we have behavior reports.
And the lacrosse co-op.
What?
And the lacrosse co-op.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh,
That's
I'm
with the
sorry.
behavior reports. Yeah.
Snuck into
I
mine.
thought that was
Thank
kind
you.
of weird.
Boys lacrosse memo, yes. We have our resignations and retirements. We have a third grade, for retirements, we have a third grade teacher, primary school educational assistant, and a high school social studies teacher. For resignations, we have special Spanish exchange co-advisor, volleyball coach, and elementary OSC special education assistant. For co-curricular, we have a volunteer middle school track coach, head volleyball coach, head golf coach, volunteer golf coach, play directors, 2 of them at 50%. We have a head baseball coach and 3 assistants. We have a head girls soccer coach and 2 assistants and 2 volunteers. We have a head softball coach with 3 volunteers and 1 assistant. High school track, head coach, 2 assistants at 70%, an assistant at 80%, assistant at 50%, 2 volunteers. And we have middle school track head coach and 3 assistants and a volunteer. And we have our Thailand exchange co-advisor. And then for crew, we have a volleyball volunteer. Regular staff, we have primary school special education assistant, level 2, long-term 3rd grade teacher substitute, and long-term 4th grade teacher substitute. And under personnel, we have 2 leave without pay requests.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the additional of the approval of the resignation of the ESOSC Special Education Assistant D. Ann Russell, and then also pull and table the junior class fundraiser request at this point.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Did you have questions really quick? And we're still, it's all good, but did you have questions about the behavior reports? Just what qualifies certain things for
Oh,
principals
well-
real quick, or no?
Yeah, real quick, I guess. What is, Mrs. Fossbender, this is for you, what does endangering behavior entail at the primary school?
I'm gonna pull this up right here. So endangering behavior would be like students they're hitting another student. That would be
Okay.
endangering behavior.
Okay. And then either Mr. Pertzborn or Mr. Jelinek, what construes, or what falls under the disorderly conduct? Because, I think disorderly conduct in the police world is.
It's just like gamut of it doesn't necessarily
Okay.
fit a category, but it's kind of like, I consider it to be like, it's behavior that's possibly going to escalate into more
Okay.
behavior, I guess is the way I would put it.
And it doesn't necessarily mean physical behavior.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
So it's kind of
Thank you.
miscellaneous.
That's a wide range of things.
Okay, thank you guys.
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. All right, we have our administrative reports, and we're going to start with our Lodi Elementary OSC.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, I'll go quick. So a couple things to highlight. I just want to remind us that we had it's been a year since our MOU with the Ice Age Trail. And obviously, we're very appreciative of the work we're doing with the Ice Age Trail Alliance. And then also wanted to highlight, just for you, let me pull this up. Oh, there we go. We had a really neat experience. Riley from the high school came with Nora Mack and Ashley Anderson, and we're really able to help students kind of understand what it might look like or feel like to communicate in a different way. And our students, the knowledge that they gain from that experience is priceless. And then the last thing I want to highlight is just the month of February. We really try to focus on kindness. Our community value theme is empathetic and encouraging, and so we kind of play off of that and challenge kids to be kind to others, and then we do some education around kindness. And then, I guess I do have one other thing. We have OSC enrollment information as well.
Thank you. Middle school.
All right, good evening, board. So first thing I want to highlight is the spelling bee. And Patty Heinzman's here, so I'll thank Patty for organizing the spelling bee for our district. And so we talked a little bit, Matt, last month that we held it at the PAC to make it a little more formal, a little more exciting, which was a really great opportunity. Congratulations to Caden Ray and to Gigi Rip, who's Sarah's daughter, for being our representatives, or winning first and second for Lodi. And then on the next page went to the district, and both did really well, and Caden ended up placing second, and he is advancing to the state spelling bee, which is in March sometime. So congratulations to Caden. Under Nurturing the Whole Child, we had our staff volleyball assembly. This is the third year we've done this. This is a super popular event with our students. So each grade level makes 3 different teams, and then they rotate through and play the staff several times. So it's a really great opportunity to kind of celebrate each other, for them to see us in a different light, and just to get together in a gym. And the staff won, by the way, so we're really excited about that. It's actually
Who are the refs in this?
One of my interview questions now is whether they're good or not.
Can you beat a middle schooler?
And then under district workforce, just want to acknowledge our SWAT team. They continue to do great work just to support the social needs of our staff. One of the things they did is they organized an outing to an axe throwing establishment, which is just another great thing for our staff to kind of gather and be together and build relationships.
That's awesome.
And they all brought all their digits back, as far as I know.
Thanks, Derek. Lodi High School.
Thanks. First of all, we had an opportunity to recognize 2 Hall of Fame coaches this past Monday. I want to thank Vince for taking over for me. I was a little under the weather, so I was unable to be a part of that presentation. But Mitch Hauser and David Poles, they will be inducted into the football and basketball Wisconsin Coaches Association Hall of Fames. Dave in April, and I think Mitch next September. So I appreciate what they've done for our school, both athletically, but also the number of kids that they've touched over the years, as far as the impact that they've had on them. In the classroom accounting too, there's some students you can see there successfully achieved QuickBooks certification. If you go to the next page, you can see art, and those are some of the students that were part of Wisconsin Art Education Association Youth Art Month show. You can see their names and pictures. One of the things that I've never put in here that I want to make note of is that our newspaper that our advocate group puts together, it is no longer a hard copy newspaper, so the last couple of years it's been an online version, so you can see a link there and you can click on it to see some of the articles that are continuously being updated. Mock trial, they are regional champs. So what was unique about the tournament last weekend is, for the first time in school history, the varsity team got first and the JV team got second, and that has never happened before. So our JV team was able to beat a lot of varsity teams, which says a lot about Renee Potter and her leadership with mock trial, so I appreciate her. Forensics Capital Conference champs, so they did a great job. They hosted actually the meet. And then finally, Megan Smith, Blake Simpson, and Michaela Dockel, they were on the All-State Band for the Wisconsin Concert Band Association, so I appreciate Doug Haift and his leadership in helping them get to that. We did have some Leadership Council events that took place, volleyball tournaments and things like that, and a ski trip just recently. There was an event at our high school during a basketball game. It was a pink out night. It was amazing, the number of people that decided to come out and support Sadie Coons and her family. You can see the crowd. It was packed in our gymnasium. It was almost like Rock the Gym 2 with the number of people that were there. So they raised a lot of money on behalf of breast cancer. And then we did have our Rock the Gym for Lodi Booster Club, which was a great event. Lots of people there, raised a lot of money for our booster club. You can see our students of the month. We do have the ACT that is coming up here on March 11th, and we have the practice ACT for our 9th and 10th graders. Right now we got about 50 students that would be coming in and taking the practice ACT. And speaking of exchange programs, we are still looking for a couple host families. I think we might have actually found a couple today. So we will be hosting this spring for our German exchange. And then, as always, you can see Audrey Parpert's photo album with all of the updated events, and then our Lodi Advocate broadcasts. And that is the high school.
I have a quick question for Mr. Jelinek.
Yes.
Is there a link on the district website for the Devil's Advocate for the newspaper?
Yes, it should be in the high school.
Under the high school?
Yeah, under the high school. Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
And our student report, Caleb is not here. He's sick tonight, unfortunately. Our curriculum.
So, just for the sake of time, I think I'm gonna pick out one thing from here that I wanna highlight for you guys, and just know, usually in January and February and a little bit into March, Adrian and myself were, doing a part of the annual evaluation cycle in the district. Each of us goes into every teacher's classroom over a 3-year period to, do an observation, and I'm working through that right now at the primary school level, and then next week, I believe I start at the elementary, I phase my way up. One of the things that just really highlights at the primary school, when I was doing my observations, beyond just the amazing teachers that are in that building and the education that I was seeing from them, is every single classroom that I was in, I started to make a note about the educational assistants in that classroom. So I would be sitting there and I'd be watching this amazing instruction happening by the teacher, and inevitably a educational assistant would walk in, seamlessly integrate into what was going on in the classroom, be working in a small group with students, almost acting as another educator in the classroom. And with the level of differentiation and personalization that we try to provide kids at the primary level, that wouldn't happen without those individuals. And it happened in almost every single classroom that I was in. And so I made a note of that. It just really stuck out, and I just want to really thank our educational assistants in our district because they do great work.
So you glossed over, the winter iReady Ames web data summary, because you're trying to make things short, I get it, but the data in there is phenomenal, the growth is phenomenal.
So we will go over that deeper at our curriculum committee meeting this month, and one of the things that we're able to do is pull both the state average data for the winter and the national data that's going around for any school district who gives the iReady assessment, so it gives you a really nice comparison of where we stand in a number of those areas. But yes, it's on the right track.
Thank you, Nick. LCAT. Okay. LCAT was contacted by our community partner Lodi Piggly Wiggly regarding a Narcan refresher training and youth mental health first aid training for their staff. We are currently working with the store to schedule a time to complete this training. Brian and Sarah met with Reach Out Lodi's new operations director, Dave Gillis. The meeting was to introduce LCAT and explain the role our coalition plays in the community and school settings. LCAT and Reach Out Lodi will collaborate on events such as Chalk the Walk and Duck the Wall with Archel. LCAT applied for a DPI state opiate prevention grant in October of 2024 for $25,000. We were recently informed that we have been selected to receive this funding, which will support opiate prevention initiatives within the school district of Lodi, and we are very excited about this funding. The quarterly LCAT newsletter has been sent out and can be found on our website, www.lodiaction.org, or on our Facebook page. In the future, the newsletter will be linked to the building newsletters to share our information with even more families in the school district. Please mark your calendars for the Lodi Pride Award Ceremony, which will take place on Wednesday, March 19th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the school district office in the boardroom. The ceremony will recognize students, staff, community members, organizations, and civic groups, and businesses who have exhibited Lodi Pride while caring for youth in our school and community over the past year.
Thanks, Terry. Student service.
Thank you. As a school district, we participate in the Medicaid School Health Services Program, which allows us to receive federal funds to help pay for health-related services like occupational therapy, speech-language therapy, physical therapy, nursing services, and attendant care. During our workday on Monday, January 20th, our school teams met with our representatives from MJ Care, which is our Medicaid billing vendor, to improve our billing practices specific to attendant care. So when we think about attendant care services, that includes things like transfers, eating, dressing, toileting, and behavior cueing. And these services are aligned to students' IEPs. So some of our teachers and our special education assistants learned more about using the portal, and the teams had time to discuss some best practices around billing for our students with attendant care needs. Next, I'd like to just give a shout out to our EA leads. We have educational assistant leads in each of our school buildings. This is a new role this year, and the purpose of this role is to provide leadership within that assistant work group and to help onboard new assistants. So special thanks to these ladies here, Kathy Barman, Krista Stark, Dee Dee Russell, Renee Monroe, Yolanda Schrader, and Abby Turner for their leadership in that area. And finally, finally, we had our third round of our poster campaign from the Wellness Committee. This round focused on heart health and featured our physical education teachers, so thanks to them. We also kicked off our Heart Health Month with our staff during our collaboration day last Friday. Staff were provided with information from our partners at Dean, and were invited to use the blood pressure cuff and monitor in their staff lounges to be entered to win a chance to win a gift card.
Thanks, Adria. Lodi Primary School.
Yeah, I'd just like to just recognize just the efforts of our staff, or my staff, with the mid-year SLO and building goal. Each of these different assessments that they were working on and supporting their students is kind of like those foundational skills that help us for other things that we're working on in Pillar 1. So a lot of celebrations from 4K through 2nd grade. And then also, since we have Anita Thorpe here, just wanted to recognize that she is a member of the Wisconsin State Superintendent Reading Advisory Council. So it's a great privilege and wonderful to have her representing Lodi and bringing in the inside information. But since she's here, we can honor her tonight with that too.
Yep. All right, District Administrator Report.
Yeah, a few things. First of all, we're doing a gallery walk tonight, so thank you to the staff for being patient and for being here tonight to share information, so we'll get into that shortly. I want to thank the board and the administrators for participating in a retreat a couple weeks ago. It was very beneficial, but it's another 9 out of your week, so just appreciate everybody coming together and working in the betterment of the district. Parent-teacher conferences are going on. They started last week and we're going this week and next week. So, thanks to our staff for those extra times, and thanks to parents for coming in and guardians for coming in, spending time. That partnership is so important in the lives of your students. So, I encourage you to come to parent-teacher conferences. This week is also Wisconsin Bus Driver Appreciation Week, so we really want to thank our partners at Cobusin for the great work that they do and the great communication they have. They're just getting better and better every year, so we just really appreciate the work that they do. And finally, I have a couple of Wisconsin Association of School Board recognitions. WASB recognizes School of Lodi Board of Education members Heather Barron and Terry Haig for earning Level 1 Leadership Awards. The levels help the signifying board continue level development in leadership. So we can take your picture later. We'll go there.
Okay.
We'll do it at the board meeting.
Thank you.
There you go. Congratulations.
Oh, my.
Where's our 100 grand? I'm just kidding.
Thank you. It was worth it.
Okay.
I just won't tell Jalen.
Okay. They're sick, they shouldn't be eating
Right, they
anyway.
shouldn't.
We're helping them. Okay. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. All right, board president. So, I was excited to attend a Lodi girls basketball game last week, which unfortunately had been a while. Being the emotional mom that I am, I got a little teary-eyed thinking back to attending many of these games when our daughter played, and then looking over and seeing the Lodi dance team, and thinking back to when my other daughter was on that team. And then, because this is what I do to myself, picturing my 2 younger boys with their bag of toys and snacks to entertain themselves for their sister school events. After telling myself to smack out of it and thinking I was done with emotions for the night, I was wrong. My emotions seemed to skyrocket even more, like numerous times before, witnessing, once again, our community coming together for one of our own. The entire gym was filled with a sea of pink and support for one of our community members. Sadly, having to join the Cancer Club. I really hate that club and wish there were no members at all. Only being able to imagine what that brave woman is going through. It was truly inspiring to see her bright, beautiful smile all the way across the gym. And even though she did not choose this position, she, like many before her, are the true heroes of our community. I just want to thank everyone in this community for being there for each other and supporting people that you may not even know in times like this. I want to thank everyone that organized this event and other events like it, and not just for the obvious reason of supporting those brave souls that have to endure this illness or other tragedies, but for also reminding, inspiring, and encouraging others to be better people, to make us stop and think of what others are going through, and to be grateful for this great community that we get to call home. These types of events are such great teaching moments to all of us, and in turn, to our future generations.
On a completely different note of gratitude, thank you again to our district and community for supporting our board members and some administration for the board retreat that we got to attend in mid-January. It was full of great information, resources, inspiration, encouragement, and some great bonding time. This great event really helps us learn and grow as a board, and we are very grateful for it. I also want to remind our community that all board meetings and community meetings are always open to the public. We don't get much public input these days, which I guess is good, means everybody's happy, right? But it's always so important to hear from you. Committee meetings are typically where most of the work and the discussions happen, so we always encourage anyone to attend. We, school board members, are always here to listen and would love to hear from you. Sorry. Okay.
No need to be sorry.
So now we get to go to our gallery walk, which I love, and I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. This is always exciting for us.
So we're excited for staff of each of the schools in our district that are in hand to participate in the gallery walk with the board. Part of my job, as I've told the staff, of course, I'm a chief reminding officer. So I'm gonna remind you why they're here, right? As a reminder, just over 4 years ago, the district started to work to engage the community in the strategic planning process. The themes that emerged from this process were the priorities that were outlined in the strategic plan that was put together by the Vision Element Study Team that was approved by the board in July of 2021. To implement the strategic plan and those priorities set by our community and our board, we developed a district-wide scorecard model, and that's how we align our work across the district. The district balanced scorecard has our vital measures for each pillar. It's just like when you go to the doctor, they check your vital signs, your heart rate, blood pressure, reflexes, etc. The scorecard represents the vital signs we check in the district. So tonight we're going to take some time to walk you through strategies that the district is using to implement in the strategic plan. Each building was asked to choose 2 pillars. They can choose either any 2 they wanted to. To do this, so we invited staff to come tonight to participate. We will divide the board, any community members who are here in small groups, and have them go to one of 4 stations we have set up here in the district office. When we get split up, I will set a timer for 10 minutes for each group, and we'll spend it with the individual school. After 10 minutes, we will just rotate, and I think you'll find it's time well spent. So I would ask the staff to go to their different locations. Board, I would have, start.
Both Sarahs together?
Yeah, both Sarahs together.
Okay.
So the elementary school.
Absolutely.
Why don't you guys go to the middle school, and if you guys want to go to the primary school and the high school, time is set up.
Elementary school.
Over there. The middle school is going to be in the conference room down the hall.
Favorite teachers.
And then we'll have a bye.
Love the bye.
Hey, how we doing? So I would have you 3 probably split up. Okay. Just follow a group around you. Okay. Are you ready?
Can you believe?
Alright, so welcome to the primary school. First introduce our staff. I'm Amanda Lord, I teach second grade. Students to our special ed. Definitely first grade. And I'm part of and we wanted to highlight pillar 1 and pillar 2 and then pillar 4. So go ahead, Deb, for pillar 1.
Okay, so our math fact fluency is something we've really been focusing some extra effort on this year. And each grade level has a
So,
reminder of math
the
practice.
beginning is
So
just a
this
little
is an example
description
from
of
my
us,
classroom.
but
We have committed
hop
to
to the good
using
stuff.
3
We
days of
chose
written
pillar
practice
3
that
and
follows
pillar
this
4.
rocket math program, and then 2 days where the classroom teacher brings
Who's
another
gonna
way of
start?
practicing into the classroom. It might be using an app or some other games and
Yeah,
things.
so,
Each time we talk
just a little
about
refresher
new facts, and my kids
that,
just do subtraction.
For us, it's.
There's actually a sheet like to see.
There's
There's actually a sheet that
making sure that we're
kind of defined the ones we
connecting,
were going to be working on.
home and
So the way
school,
my
but then
kids and I
also
do it
looking
is
for ways that
we spend
families
just
can
2
get
minutes,
involved,
so we make this kind of a quick
within
practice.
either our
We're
classrooms or our
doing the
grades,
outside together, so
in any capacity,
3 minus 1
whatsoever,
equals
and
2.
then,
We just have that
we
stuff
have,
going all the way around until 2
classrooms that are
minutes is up.
sending home
So we
family
got this far
newsletters,
today.
but within that,
Then my kids find a
we're
couple
giving them,
smart boards,
it's not
some
just
of
what we're
them-
doing,
some
but
of
giving
them
them ideas on
use
how
the
they can
table,
support us.
some ones on the floor.
Because I don't know if you
And
know this,
they
but when
just
kids come
do as many as they
home,
can
a lot of
for
times
1
they don't
minute.
share what we're doing
After
in
that,
school.
I don't correct
And
them,
even though
I
we're
don't
doing
check
great grand
them,
things,
they
they might not
celebrate
always share that.
they
So
reach
we
their
come
goal or
up
not,
with
which
a
was set ahead
simple
of
ask your
time.
child
And then
this
they just take a
question,
colored
and
pen
if
and
they
finish the
ask your
rest.
child about this
So
word or
it's
something
low
connected
key,
to
low
curriculum,
pressure, but it's a
trying
lot
to
of
get that
intentional
conversation
practice,
going.
more frequently during
For
the
those
week.
kids that
And I
don't feel
think,
like sharing
is
all
there
the
anything else you
time.
want to add about that, Anita?
Grace, you want to
Yeah,
touch
so
on
the kids love it. It's
resources?
really exciting to see them start to set goals that are meaningful and get a little more accurate. So we talk about what's a good goal, and then the next day, this stays in here because look back, how did you do? What do you think you wanna try today? So, a couple of ways of practicing, not only math facts, but some goal setting.
Additional, so this continues from kindergarten through 5th grade, so that's, you know, again, building right into that routine that they're doing in the middle school and high school. So for pillar 2, we wanted to share some of our new learning from Keys to Literacy. These were 3 of our different main area, or the facilitated sessions that we had since September. So let's kick us off. Fluency.
Fluency is the bridge connecting word recognition and comprehension, and that encompasses automaticity, which is accuracy, rate, and prosody. And in the winter, one of the pros for AIMSWeb was the oral reading fluency. So this over here is what kindergarten had to complete. They had to, in 1 minute, had to read, what was it, 35 of these letters in a minute. And then they had to read 35 again, 31 of the letters in a minute. First grade had to read this passage and get to.
Here are some volunteer opportunities that we give to families and some ways that people are helping out. A big part of this as well that I think sometimes we forget as volunteers is we do have quite a few high school helpers who
So
come and
another
spend time
area
in
that
our
we're
building.
focusing on
And
or
that's
learning
just
about was
super helpful,
vocabulary, and that
not
really
just
is
for
a
us
way
as staff,
to
but also for
academic
students.
success.
They really connect with them
Vocabulary
as they have
instruction
great
is
examples.
directly linked to comprehension. And so
So
one of the routines that they taught us about using was this idea of previewing unfamiliar words to kind of activate the prior knowledge for kids.
Social
Making
media, we really
connections,
try
so
to tell our
seeing
story, we
kids
know
know
how
the words,
important it is.
asking them thumbs up, thumbs down,
I
if they've
counted
heard
up
some of those
so far this
vocabulary
year,
words.
we have had
Selecting
112
some words
posts
to teach
on the
in
district
depth.
Facebook
Those
page,
tier
just
2 words, so
revolving
your
around
school wasn't
LDS
on maybe
Mostly.
3 or 4 words before you start a story to help the
Do
kids learn
pillar
that
4,
vocabulary. And then teach them strategies to learn those words, so when you're reading or independently, giving them ideas about how do you actually figure out those words if you're reading something. And then just promote that word consciousness, we want kids to be excited about words. And so, I've highlighted this, I think, in my board report before, but we have a word of the week. And so each day, there's a different area of focus, so there'll be the word, the definition, I'll break it apart into syllables and tell them antonyms, synonyms, and then also give them a sentence.
That reminds me
That
reminds me of Susie Wimmer back in the old, the Good Samaritan days. She would do a corner in the living room.
It was actual sand,
Yep.
and it was during a day where we had extended recess for our kids, so they're all together enjoying extended lunch, and I definitely put my bare toes in that sand. And a cold January day was perfect.
Put it together to understand what the words mean. Syntactic awareness, the ability
Right now, our current thing for February is getting everyone together. So this is what our lounge looks like right now.
But just that you're
the
building
theme
on
for
that
this
then,
month
like you're not
took
just
pictures of
reading
all the
this
staff
and
and talked about how
talked about what it was
something that
about
is connected
and
to them.
be able to understand
So
the different
outside of maybe something that they
text
appreciate.
structure is just how you
And
analyze,
then
how specific
let's scroll up.
sentences, paragraphs,
We
larger
do have some
portions
things
of
that we
text
try to
fit
do.
into each other and the
Like I
whole.
mentioned, the kindness
So there
calendar.
again, just kind of like if
But
you're
also
reading
we're
about
going
Wales,
bowling soon
you know,
as
like the
a
different
staff.
parts that you can go
We do
back
that on the
and
yearly.
look at. Some
But
of
then
the
all
great
school recess, like we
activities,
just
these were
mentioned.
really fun that we got to do on
It's a
Friday.
really great
Sometimes
opportunity,
they're
not just for
fun.
our students, but for our staff
I mean,
to
all
get
of
together.
it.
The one that we have,
Like
we always do
talked
the Thursday
about,
before
like,
collaboration days.
different activities
And
that
the
she
next
did
one
with
in
us, like
May,
we
we have
were
parents who
talking
come
about, like,
volunteer, so all
mixing
our
up
support staff and our certified
and
staff
then like
get to have
having them
lunch
in
together.
different words, and then the kids
And
have
as
to
someone
go
who's been in
through
district forever,
and like rearrange
How long
the
have you
words,
been
put
for?
together the sentences.
This,
So
you
again,
don't
you're looking
understand
for,
like
the
how
first
vital
word
this is
has a
and
capital letter, and
how it
you
makes
know
you
that,
feel
so that's
even
gonna
closer
be
to the
the first
district.
one, and
And I think it's
just
really
putting it in
important to show that chart
relationships
to
so
your
that it
staff
makes sense
as they
then
can
too,
compete
so we got to do a
with
lot
all
of
their
those activities.
districts around to show
This
that
was a
this is
really
not
fun
just
one.
coming in, doing
Just
your job,
talking
but
about,
it's feeling
like how we
connected as
can
a
really
community.
beef up our
And
sentences
something
when
as
we're
simple
working with
as
kids. So
a
she gave
beach
us a
theme
sentence the teacher
really
eats,
makes a difference.
and then we all had
impact
to
having
like fill in
those
where,
light
where the teacher
conversations in that
eats,
lunchroom.
what the teacher
So I
eats,
really
and why,
appreciate,
so there were really
Eric
some
for
good sentences
helping,
about the
put
teacher
this
hiding
together and
under her
staff very
desk
much
eating
appreciate
chocolate because she was stressed.
Really feels
Things like that, so that was a really fun one.
We got
that
some
we
therapy
did. But
dogs
just
at the
to
bottom
follow
as well,
those,
so
things
any
that the
questions
kids
for us?
in their understanding.
Yeah.
So a lot of the training is just informational knowledge
Any
about
questions
best
for us on
practice and
anything you
skills,
saw?
but then strategies that we can
I
take and
just think
apply
it's
with our kids.
Our students.
And pillar 4, Val's gonna share.
Not just the students, but the parents and the community.
For pillar 4,
So
looking for ideas to help
staff engagement and get us through the dreary winter. We decided to do a play and share on Friday during our professional development.
It's just,
And so people could
I
bring.
told Jason not
like,
long
the
ago
things,
when we
had tables
first met that we're sort of in this
brought
little
in, took
bubble.
them home.
You know,
So it's fun
we're
seeing how
close to
people are
Madison,
putting their
but
plans together. And we have plans here for you guys.
goodness.
Does anybody need a little
Because that trickles down.
Any questions?
That people operate in their day-to-day work, you know, you're gonna be better educators and counselors and all the different roles if you're happy and feel connected. I mean, I've been at UW-Madison for 17 years and we have a new dean, like,
Yeah, whether it's from the math and doing the math,
I've never
basically
had a
something that's
person
just this
for 16
string
years, I
organization,
never,
letting you know it's
never heard
working
from
and
the dean
engaging, and
except like,
especially it's
once
interesting
in a
as
while
we've
there's a
talked about,
problem,
if there's
now we
like
get
a
a monthly
goals
newsletter.
that is as well,
and
just even making that
she
progress
like
versus
reports
just
what she's
something,
been working
you know,
on, she talks about
that's-
ways
yeah.
to be in the
Yeah.
community,
Absolutely.
talks about like cool things each of our different offices are doing every month, and it's like, suddenly I feel energized.
Yes, go ahead,
by it.
Darren.
So I think
Yes, I better get it before.
It's a great crew to work with, and we have pretty awesome students too.
Yes,
So,
of course.
well, and even like when we talk about the communication, you know, we could put in there, hey, this is happening, right? But the whole idea of like, also like ask your student, right? Not just ask what we're doing, but we actually give them, right? Like, and just how helpful we. Yes, with suggested answers,
What if the
exactly.
kid tells you too much information?
Yeah.
Their day gets explained to you over the course of an hour every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so great what you did.
That's good.
Like I said, the impact team, this is some of our amazing group. These are the two pillars that they chose right now that we just wanted to make sure you're
My
aware
goal
of.
was to have 100 plants by 100 days of school. Which is tomorrow.
My gosh, she's giving away her money.
No, not in my office, between my office and home.
I
in
think
my
I'm
office.
starting my 30 year
As an educator?
Yeah, educator in Rhode Island next year's.
Yeah, good for you.
At this point, I kind of ones together.
No, not
Just
very much.
showing up here in August.
Well, when I called my daughter tomorrow, I'll have to tell her, you're not gonna believe what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's still standing, so.
I think I did see her at parent-teacher conferences in the fall.
What are the are there any challenges?
Good place to be. Yeah.
But this year, like,
Yeah.
this year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
Staying late. I know it's
Maybe I'm wrong.
But I think just trying to
Thank you.
balance everything from Act 20 to our literacy program to our math to the curriculum that we have to cover in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, we move.
Well, yep.
Time to
You
move.
guys go to the conference room.
Okey doke.
You guys have a break?
Too bad the break
Alright. Thank you all for being here. Ready? So, a couple things. First of all, welcome. I'll just talk a little bit, but this crew will take care of most of it. But I want to just remind you at the top a little bit about who we are, what we do. So, LES OSC is a student-centered 3rd to 5th grade school with highly effective educators who value people, conversations, and growth. We focus on developing positive relationships because people matter. The work we do is important, but not more important than the students we teach and the families we serve. So, we chose two pillars, these two pillars to share with you, Pillar 3 and Pillar 4. And so I will let them take it away. Mr. McNeil?
All right, innovative communication, connection, Pillar 3, and it really connects with what Mr. Bryan had talked about with having parents coming in, you know, during those parent-teacher conferences, that home school connection that we really focused on and pride ourselves on. So we've many opportunities for parents to come in to volunteer, but we also communicate them either weekly or bi-weekly in some sort of newsletter or something to give them more, not just information about what's going on, but also prompts they can ask their child about. So sometimes kids, I don't know, I mean, rarely, when kids come home, they just want to tell you everything about school. But in case that you have a child that doesn't, we have a Ask Your Child, where you can say, hey, ask your child about this word, or ask your child about this in social studies or math, and then even some subtle answers to help them along if they need that. But we're always looking for new ways to connect with our families as their schedules are busy and we're covering so much great things in school.
So then included in our resources to families too is we provide opportunities for them to take learning into their home if they so choose. We know everybody's schedules are very different, and sometimes 1 week might allow for more compared to others, but working with our reading specialist and as a staff we came up with a list of literacy and math practices, games, activities, resources that they can use at home if they would like, along with providing families a homework guidance, where we often get questions from families asking like, what's an appropriate amount of time that I should be working on this? So we created, with Mr. Schuman's help, just guidance on, based on their age or grade level, how much time they should be spending on each day. But always communicating if it's a frustration at home that it should stop immediately, and then just connecting with their classroom teacher on what we can do to support with that positive thinking. And then connected to our Act 20 work that we've been going through right now, we are setting home fluency practices for families each week so that their child can practice reading with expression and proper rate, and just learn more about what fluently reading means.
Just wanted to highlight some volunteer opportunities. We do try to connect people outside our community to also within our community. But a big part of that, I think, is something we forget is our high school helpers, not just high school buddies, but we have quite a few students who choose to come spend part of their day at our school, helping in classrooms, connecting with students, and that is just a huge benefit not only to staff, but especially to our students. Social media, just wanted to highlight, we understand the importance of telling our story, and I counted up this week how many posts we've had since the beginning of the school year, and just about our building, we have had 112 posts on the district Facebook page this school year. Carrie?
So we also chose to focus on Pillar 4, which is the district workforce, so we're trying to maintain a positive staff experience as well. And so we developed a calendar with opportunities to celebrate and connect during the school day and outside of the school. So some of the ways that we have done that this year is a beach-themed lunch time for all of our staff. Real sand in that pool, and there was beach sounds. We all got to enjoy some themed mocktails. And then some other highlights were monthly gatherings. We have all-school recess where support staff supports all the kids one day, and so that all the certified staff can have lunch together, and then we switch it up, and then later we have volunteers come in, and then everybody can have lunch together. We're all going to go bowling.
March.
All the staff is going home?
Well, they're all invited.
Okay.
Yeah. As well as our kindness calendar that Eric had mentioned before, and we have the Staff Appreciation Week.
And as I said, as someone who's been here forever, this may not seem like a big deal, but it really makes a huge impact when you can all come together in that lounge, and that was real sand, and I did have my bare feet in there, and it was wonderful, but you bond and you feel a sense of community, and for the school district of Lodi, when we're competing with all these other schools, when you get those new teachers in and they feel like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing place, like amazing kids, families, but now the staff all comes together throughout all these activities, it really makes a huge difference. So it's something that I've seen just make a positive vibe in our building. So thank you to everybody, especially Eric.
This one is from this February team, and they chose to take pictures of all of us and then ask us something that we enjoy that besides school. And so they put that in there so we can get to know each other a little bit more, but also then some people didn't write things, so we could kind of write things for people.
Mine isn't up there yet.
I think father and daughter over there or something. So
if you look closely, everyone else has a single heart. I'm paired up with Don Collins. We share a heart. So I'm talking to somebody about that.
And then our therapy dog, came and visited as well with Mrs. Barr.
Yep.
Any questions for us? Went over a couple things kind of quick, but wanted to make sure we had a chance to get through it and have some time for questions.
Under your highlights section
Yeah.
there, could you be a little more specific? I'm just curious about, what does monthly gatherings mean?
Yeah, so our monthly gatherings, we have always had those, but what happened was, it was just us in the office, kind of trying to think of what they should be. And then we'd invite everyone to be part of that, and those were fun, and it worked okay. But this summer, we kind of had the idea to get staff into teams. And so we have every month covered by teams, and we don't tell them what to do. So they get to choose how they want to do that. Some people choose to do a gathering in the lounge and decorate it. Some people choose to, like there was a snack cart, they came and visited. So it's everybody's own choice how they do that, their teams. And then the nice part of it is you only have 1 month that you're really responsible for, setting up and cleaning up. Where before it was kind of like, well, am I part of this? Is it my job? Should I bring something or not? So that's been really neat. All school recess, we have those every Thursday before collaboration days. And so that's a chance for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to get time together. And then the other nice part, like Carrie had mentioned, is the first one, the support staff cover that recess, and so the certified staff get to spend lunch together. And then the second one, the certified staff cover and the support staff get to spend lunch together. And then this most recent one, the support staff covered. And then at the end of the year, we have volunteers come and all the certified and support staff get to have lunch together. Kindness calendar is kind of what I highlighted as well. Staff Appreciation Week is just a time that really myself and Deanne and Kathy in the office, along with the PTO, help us make that week special for our staff. This family first mindset is, I think in education, it's a lot easier, well, I think maybe in any job, but in education for sure, it's a lot easier to be there than to be gone. At the same time, we know that we can't be our best if we don't know that the people who we care the most about are cared for. And so we have this mindset that we know that if you need to take care of your family, that's what happens first. You don't need to feel bad about that, because then when you're here, you can be your best. And then bowling is something we're doing in March 14th.
Anything that can be done to keep staff happy and to keep staff here.
Okay.
Excited about what they're doing.
Huge.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So first, I'd like to introduce our staff. We just
there's a lot more out there to engage people.
If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
I think if you, at least for me, I always learned that the months of December and February were extra maybe challenging. And so those are definitely months that we have plans in place to help you be your best. All right. Thank you. I think Mr. Brannick says time to switch.
Thank you.
Okay. We get a break. Yeah, we get a break. Sure about that? It looks like it. I should have said Things are out of control. Wishes you could.
Like we think the same about like global. Or actual beach.
That's 77. There's 4 groups. Oh yeah, 3 groups coming. Yep, one more time. That's our last group over there. There, Terry and Nidria.
Started this when we were doing online, I was making lines, so some of them still do that. So it's like verbal, we get goal, or the visual goal. And then afterwards it's just take that, and that's just between the eyeball. Yeah.
The one year they went through like,
But like today, we only had 5 minutes, I said, grab your pen and do as many as you get.
and then the one time before COVID,
Yeah,
as we said in 2019.
Now tomorrow, when we
And
do
it was like you and your spouse,
back
they
at
flew you to where the
goal and how we
slap them. You know, shoes, and they gave us like $500 a spend.
And they do this every day. 3 days a week. Okay.
Don't tell her.
Because of marketing company. And I left, my boss was super nice lady, but.
Nice job. I just
To go back to grad school.
It was like you went on vacation.
Sometimes I feel like I'm going back to all over again.
Those mocktails were spot on too. That was weird.
Facilitated sessions we had this year, so, this is Mr. Swans.
So this is the branch that, connecting. Yes. Authenticity encompasses accuracy, rate, and capacity, and one of the, aims of approach that we did for the winter assessment, for kindergarten and high school.
You're on your own. I'm not coming home anytime soon.
I don't have to, right? It's good.
We'll remind you at some point.
Bring that
Bowling.
support. They have to use 35 words a minute during the process.
And Alice might bring the dog. Hopefully she's not sick.
That's for the 25%.
She was okay with
20, this was just the reading readiness screening that the students all had to, every student has to do.
Let's get on the spot.
I know, I was like,
Maybe
oh,
it's the first one, but sorry. Yeah, that's it.
You do a good job this kid. I'm like,
Yeah, that's a good thing. Damn.
And so as part of our training, we work about the instructional team, making sure you're previewing vocabulary, activating prior knowledge for kids, making connections with them. So like you're asking them, do you know this word, thumbs up, thumbs down, just kind of see what their current understanding is. Selecting words to teach in depth, we know that we do want to definitely take a couple words and really make sure they have a deep understanding of what that is. Teach them strategies, like word parts to figure out what the meaning of those words are when they're reading independently. And then just provide word consciousness is one of the tree side of it. One of the suggestions they had was actually this word of the week, which is what I do in my announcements. So, this was in January, but the word was introduced, and so then I'll define the word. Each day there's something different, so like I'll tell them how many syllables in the word, what antonyms here, synonyms, and then each day there's a there's a sentence with a picture, like visual, so.
Yes, we were not doing this when I was.
I was like, what? Catholic, it was Catholic grade school, we did not get
This last week, we focused on Friday in our training, we focused a lot on the sentence structure and the text structure of things. So the syntax, just looking at the study and the understanding of grammar, like how a sentence is even formed, does that make sense that we say things, just talking about those types of things. Syntactic awareness, just the ability to find a relationship among words in a sentence in order to understand what we're reading. So just that you're not only able to read that sentence, but that you're able to put it together and understand what that sentence is about. Text structure was analyzing how specific sentences, paragraphs, larger portions of text relate to each other in whole. So like, in my class right now, we are reading about whales. So then, it's just about how those sentences support like our main topic, coming back to that then. And then, Friday at our training, we got to do, it's always fun when we get to do activities too, like, kids like that, or like that. So, one thing we got to do was we got to, take sentences, like we came up with sentences, we use like our weekly words in them, or like the phonics skill that we were working on every week. And we put those words in sentences, and then you cut them apart by words, and then you rearrange them. And then, so then it's like teaching the kids like the sentence structure, like how would this go together, like looking for the word that's capitalized, of course that goes first, different things like that. And then another one we talked about on Friday was the sentence elaboration, just like taking the sentence like the teacher eats, and then how we can build upon that. So she said, asking where, what, why. So we all got to come up with a sentence about where we would eat and what we would eat and why we eat. So there were some really good, we had fun doing it. So like taking it back into our classroom is fun to do with them. Especially when they hear that we did it, they think that's really fun. Yeah, that we
She'll
do it.
like telling us we have to send her too.
And then pull it forward.
We, on our collaboration day, had a plant share, where people could bring in plants and take home plants, just a little greenhouse there, I think. That's awesome.
Staff loved
And then
it.
we have plants for you, if you would like to take a plant with you. I would love to, but I would kill them.
These are
pretty
these
easy
are
ones.
these are hard ones.
I don't kill things.
They're quivering right now.
with me standing here. I wish I did it, but that's awesome.
Yeah, just mixing it up because again, we and Chiz get part of you learned really that.
We made pasties. Sold pasties.
Actually,
It's like Cornish spread.
it's a great way to just, unrelated, but just something exciting.
So they're Cornish pasties, and so when the miners would go down into the shaft and work.
Not like a crinkle.
So our next get
together,
it's like a
but
pastry
like
cup
go to
and stuff.
UP and buy it.
I have 4 in my fridge from the Lutheran Church in Middle Point. My parents just gave me before it's
At the Schmelfield? At the Schmelfield.
I'm gonna show, I'll bring it in, I'll show it to you, I might give you a little bit. No, it was a big funner, you got there like 5, at like 11, and then everybody had a roll in your kitchen, and then you baked them, and then Saturday morning people came and bought them.
Delicious.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being, yeah. Thank you, appreciate it.
It's like you guys get sick.
Thanks for the free personal day tomorrow.
See what Wednesday brings.
I had this one from down home. These are really nice and outside. This is really good.
And thanks a lot, Marcy. These kids.
Oh, you guys did that right.
What?
Oh, wait, no, you don't.
Are we supposed to comment?
I was thinking.
What are you saying?
I was thinking you guys were timed it right. We had the last, like, you gotta leave early, but you don't get to.
We haven't done these guys, right?
Thank you, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Krista, they
What?
accept your.
What are you gonna say? What? What words of wisdom? You're surrounded by a board
Thank you,
members.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Gotta keep running.
They are handing out plants.
Oh, that's cute.
So I took them.
Yeah, they're giving gifts away, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, invitations. We'll invite you to something.
Yeah, you can get us one.
So, just a few reminders.
Or my office.
One thing about our school, obviously, is that I believe that we work really hard with highly effective educators
I had a goal
to
to
make sure that
have
we
100
are
plants
developing
by
positive
Thursday.
relationships, right? Because our people matter.
I couldn't tell
We
them
do this
about
because it's
it.
important.
Kept being like,
What we teach, but not who we're teaching to.
But I told my
But we try to make sure that we're not just doing that on our own, that we're also connecting with our community. And you'll see that in the pillars that we chose. We chose pillar 3 and pillar 4 to share with you this year.
So pillar 3 is basically how we communicate with home. And as Mr. Brining had spoken about before, it's really important that we continue that home school connection. And at LES and OSC, what we're trying to do is just beyond like a weekly or bi-weekly update of what's going on in the classroom, helping families out with guided questions. Like, hey, ask your child about this, because might come as a surprise. Not all kids come home ready to tell you about everything that's happening in their day.
We need to do that at the high school.
Yeah.
So I can actually get something out of my kid.
And so it can be as simple as asking your child about this in connection with social studies, or about a word, or about a math problem, or something they've done, and then even having a few answers or some guidance for the parents so that they know how the child should be answering. But again, it's just building that connection between home and school.
Families, what can they do at home to support their child learning, working together as a staff and with the reading specialist, created resources for children in that, activities, games, different places they can go to connect reading and math at home. And then parents have a homework guidance, just based on like student age or grade level, like what appropriate time we're going to focus on learning at home. But also showing families that it's important to take care of themselves and their child, and if it's not going well, just to connect with their classroom teacher. Like a streaming work time. And then we're doing a lot of fluency work with all of our Act 20 training. So we're doing that within.
I got a couple more things.
Okay, sounds good.
Hi, Mrs. Cole. I'm good. How are the kids? Good.
To help support that.
They're great.
some volunteer opportunities. We try to do a really good job of having people come in as well. So these are just some of the examples of what people are coming in and helping with. One thing that I think we forget often is how lucky we are that we have high school helpers. We have people who choose to make coming to visit and help be a priority in their schedule as a high schooler. That's crazy. And it's not just such a benefit to us as staff, but also to our students who look up to them a ton. Often they're asked to stay longer for a lunch or a recess if possible, or come back and visit. Often we have to help with some transitions of saying goodbye to them at semester if they're not coming back because they've built those connections, which is always great to see. And then part of that is also just social media. We know it's important to tell our story because if we don't, somebody else will. But I counted up, so far this year, we have had LES and OSC 112 posts on the district Facebook page. And so we are definitely telling our story. There's a lot that we're proud of, but we want to make sure that people know what we're doing, because first of all, they have the right to know, but also because
going
we're
around the outside. So 3 minus 1 equals 2. And we do a 10-minute study. We get as far as we can in 2 minutes because it's meant to be kind of short and sweet. Yeah, right? This is all right back.
Yep, exactly.
And then we do set a goal before they try for 1 minute.
During the school day.
So this student wanted to get this
outside of the
far.
school day. So,
She got this far, she records that. And then they get to get a color pen and finish the rest if there's time. And sometimes I'm just saying, there's 5
teams
minutes
that get together and
but it just gives them a little more practice.
Each of
None
them
of it
is
is high
responsible for a
pressure,
month.
it's really just, the reason I time it is really just to use our time well. Short and
So
sweet.
we have beach theme.
Yeah, so they're getting some daily practice across.
Sand,
It's really
mocktails, there's
and actually,
beachy sounds playing when you walked in, we all got color themes, we had like hot dogs.
Yeah, who doesn't like color pen? And B, it helps kind of define, like visually just see the stuff I've done.
That's like our monthly gathering, each team is responsible for a month, so they can do
And then we
whatever they
wanted
want.
to share a little bit of our learning from Keystone or CESA.
Snacks around everybody, coffee cart. We have our all-school recess where we take turns with supervision, so support staff will provide the kids, while certified staff will have their lunch in the lounge, and then flip-flop those. And then the last one of the year, we have volunteers come in, and then we all get to have lunch together. Eric mentioned the kindness calendar. And then we have a staff appreciation week where Eric and the ladies in the office come up, and the PTO with that.
Just whatever
The family first mindset is just,
And then in the middle, that's the first grade passage.
that, you know, we need to take care of our families at home in order to be able to do our jobs at school.
In a minute.
That's super important. And then we all are gonna go bowling next month.
So do you guys do that like on a weekend or a weeknight, or what is that?
Friday.
Another one of our
Friday,
facilitated
yeah,
sessions
March
was
14th.
vocabulary.
Chosen date, you don't even know yet.
To just do what
Yeah.
you want, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So they can have a libation.
We have mocktails then.
And so they highlighted the instructional routine.
Yeah, so I guess we've
teaching
done
us
a
about
couple
the
things.
importance of previewing unfamiliar words
We
with
thought about
students, just
changing that
activating
too, the
acquired
impacting
knowledge.
obviously is a big part of
Helping build word
deciding what we
connections,
do.
so asking the kids thumbs
But
up,
the thing is
stop,
that
do you know those
bowling, you
vocabulary
can
words?
choose to.
Selecting some words to teach the
Some
child.
people bring their
So you
kids,
guys
some
get a
people
picture of what
don't.
they
So like,
Nice.
it's
Get a
very
breadth of vocabulary
informal,
words,
but
but also
it's been
deeper
just
into
really good
those
way to
different
connect.
ones. Really
And so
highlighting
that's
those
just,
tier
sometimes
2 words
spouses
that
come
appear in
and
text.
and families come. Yeah, we go to the Riv.
Talks
So,
about using context or word
this is the
parts to
February
help them
crew.
learn the
Do
meaning of
this
those
one, so that if you
words.
come into our lounge right now, this is what's up.
Explicit
And so they
instruction
put
on
pictures of
vocabulary
all the staff
words.
up, and they asked us, went around and asked us what is something we enjoy outside of school. And so they have those notes on there as well, and you can also add to them, there's a marker there, and some parts if you want to add something else, just so we can get to know each other as well. And then they had, it's all about being paired, and so like, on Friday, Thursday, it was veggies and dip.
The syllables
And
and
then,
synonyms,
I go
each
up
day,
with this
put the
one.
word in a sentence and how you did it.
Bagels and fruit, trail mix bar.
In our last training on Friday, we talked a lot about sentence structure and how that really improves understanding and fluency.
It's something I've shared with the faculty here, but being here forever in the district, this may not, so some it may not seem like a big deal, but it really is, because it makes you feel part of a really tight-knit community. We have great kids, great community, great board, great everybody, parents, and great staff, but when we can come together and hang out like this, it really makes a difference, especially for those younger teachers. You know, we're competing against all these surrounding districts, and so if they come in here and fall in love with everything, and then feel like, oh my gosh, look at all the fun things we do as a staff, yeah. It
Then we
really
talked
makes a
about
difference.
the text structure,
And there
then
was
these just
sand,
kind of
real
build on
sand,
each other
as
then,
you
and so
mentioned,
then
and it was during your extended lunch, so I definitely had my feet in the sand, so it might keep me another year here, just that right there, so. Yeah,
That's good enough.
Yeah, but it's just so many opportunities for us to connect, and depending on where you're at with your family and all this, there's so many opportunities, and so
We also got to
really
do some
appreciate
fun
working with staff.
activities on Friday while we were in school.
Questions for us?
And
Kind of focused on
one
the
thing we got
the
to do
connection,
was
the
we cut out like
communication with
words of a
families.
sentence that you would have, like a sentence, and we just cut out words. And then you mix it up, and then it's just teaching the kids how to use that, put them, for them to make the sentence, like using a capital letter, because you know that goes first, and then the word period, you know, so this stuff, you know that, and then just putting all the words together to make
And she'll walk them
sense.
around the school.
The best part of Friday was using the sentence
And we have Mindy
elaboration.
Allen brings
So
in
we
the
talked about
occupy dogs throughout the
simple
year.
sentence, like the teacher
Yeah,
needs.
we're lucky.
And then she had us build upon it by asking things like where, what, why. So we each got to build our own sentence, using ourselves as an example of where we eat, why we eat, and where. You know, so we came up with some really great ones. So even asking the kids, I did that today. So they came up with me that I eat Reese's peanut butter cups while they're on recess because I don't want to share with them.
She's trying to sell you guys.
So when, the nursing homes have that, and when I do CNA classes, like I put myasthenia, there were a couple of cats, and it's a big place, and there are a couple of dogs. And especially like on a night shift, those darn cats would like to sit underneath the bed cart, and then you'd come to pick them and they'd scream. It's pretty funny.
And a plant spot where people could bring in plants and take plant cuttings, in our commons at, like primary school.
Yeah, the all-school recess, the kids absolutely look forward to it.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
my family right
Your
there.
family.
And you know what's funny about that is it's just such a big deal because it
More
happens.
fun. These are limited.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Can do all night.
Multiple grades.
These can do
Yeah,
it.
those are always those Thursdays, we do those all four, it's just the Thursdays before.
Doesn't mean a lot.
Thanks.
So there's spider babies.
A lot of it just has to do with explaining Act 20, like, and how it's.
And I said that before, I'm so glad you did. That was the one
You
thing.
know, so now it's like the fluency, like in a minute, you know, and everything gets that, it's just a lot of.
And so I love that you guys.
Yes, that's the all school, then we, now we have our lunch and Latrice's every day is by grade level.
Right, so that's
So like,
okay, so every day they get to cross grade level.
this is like,
Really?
everybody, in warmer weather, I bring up
So I
some
would say the emphasis is phonetic again.
very wound up, and then time to go back in there.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
what I'm good at.
Thank you.
That's what I'm good at.
That emphasis has come back.
Oh, he does that too, no, I'm just kidding.
That's bubbles.
Yeah, so you're gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, you do?
Something that will just make you make it like.
Yes, yes. This to Charles, but they're not straight.
Thank you.
And that's just been a piece that they want more shopping.
So I would say that Chad's got some, again, I think beneficial for us to make your strategy, but I think as a school, we're just continuing to support all of our students. Thank you, guys, I really appreciate it. Now we gotta do the other side. Okay. You're getting them out, huh?
Which is.
Yeah.
Good thing we were all made for tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
On Wednesday.
It's fun, I can see people from.
Thank you. You know, we're going on a honeymoon. Well, we get married next summer in Portland. Christmas, she's told me.
That's cool. Tell me today.
I will.
Okay, okay.
Yes, if you can, I would love a video. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great for the kids to see that, yeah, exactly, I know, Nick just got Nick on one too for this week tonight. Your video, Okay, thank you, Val. I see him every once in a while. 60. Oh, do you really? Yeah. Yeah, feel free to take it. These are, Val said take those, so anyone else, oh, did you get a plane?
I didn't, I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna take one.
Like a plane for these? Thanks,
Yeah, you do.
You get a count.
Yeah, that's what we did, right?
So,
Middle school.
how did these come about?
You spend enough time and go to enough sessions, like a state convention, and you rack up points and then they give you those.
So I should have 10 of these for the delegate assembly.
Absolutely, that's why you got one, I think.
No, there should be 10 more.
Just last year's delegate assembly. Just that one hole.
CESA5?
Just before you get that, any feedback, thoughts on board members?
It was
Gallery
amazing.
walk?
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
wonderful.
Amazing.
I
So
love
well put
Yeah.
together, you guys.
I try to put it out there too, the community can always come because I love watching
Yeah.
this stuff and I appreciate all the time that you guys, I know that a lot of them have left already, but I told every time we left one of those too, that the time and just sticking with what our strategic plan is, because that's what the community really asks for and our district is
Makes it so
definitely,
easy to follow.
yes.
And they could present on safe things, that would be easy, but they don't. They present on harder things.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it always, and it, like when I was at the primary school and I was saying, I was not doing that in primary school.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Yeah, not at all.
We didn't learn how to, well, I didn't,
I was
you're younger than me,
coloring.
but I did not learn how to type until I was in high school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
class I ever took
Yeah.
in all of my years of
Yeah.
school was typing.
No, but.
I'm just gonna keep saying
And all the,
that.
I love
You
how,
guys
you know,
are
all the schools
amazing.
are aligning with everything, that just
Yeah.
makes it so much better and.
Yeah, so as you
Really
noticed,
appreciate it.
thanks to Tyler, he was videotaping. He followed one group around just so we got everybody.
So the community can see
So
this.
the community will have access, this will be up on the website,
Nice.
so they can watch this, because you can't follow the gallery walk
Yeah.
with our system.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, so
So community,
you can watch it on, yep,
Yes.
you can
well
watch it.
worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mr. Jelly, can I ask a question? Because I got I know I got booted out of there.
Sorry,
So-
Sarah.
It's okay, I'm just joking, but since you guys were talking about the ACT and, improving scores, my son is right now taking an ACT prep class. I think is it CESA6 maybe is doing that? It's in McFarland? I don't.
There might be several
McFarland
CCs,
runs
but
by them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So I just wondered, if Lodi's ever done one of those, or if that was something that has ever been considered.
I don't think specific to like an evening where kids would come in and do ACT
And they like
prep.
focus on a different subject matter for the
Not
test.
not since I've been there, maybe Vince can speak to it, but probably not. I just know in specific classes, they do very specific ACT prep. And they also do test-taking prep too, like what that is like on that day. I just put together a video for Countdown to the ACT that juniors watched today, and then Elise Kearney will continue to be doing things every week to get our juniors a little bit more ready for that day,
Yeah.
so they feel comfortable with it. And it is gonna be new this year, it will be an online version, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic what they're doing now. I was just curious. Okay, so.
CESA5 contract.
I never like eat anything,
Yeah.
and then the one time I was like, I'll just do it really quick. So yeah, you can talk about CESA5 contract.
Yeah, so, Ms. Schrader, Dr. Charles, and myself reviewed the annual CESA contract and recommend for approval. We come this every year. It has gone down every single year I've been here. I wish I could say it's because of our astute financial wizardry that we do with the district, but we do try to look at it very closely, and I meet with them. But it's also depending on what students we have. Like, so what needs that we have, if a student moves in, this could bounce back up. We have, like, it's dropping this year because we have a student graduating, and some of the needs that that student has are being met through CESA, because it's the cheapest way for us to do that versus hiring a whole new staff member. But that could change anytime, but.
I just had a question. What is the Career and Technical Education Council?
I can take that if you'd like.
Yeah.
I'm just, not that I'm questioning it, I'm just curious.
It's a great question. So we have Joel Mindom, who's the Career and Technical Education Coordinator for our region, and he comes in and works with our Career and Technical Education teachers to set goals and gain access to Carl Perkins funding from the state.
Yep.
And to gain access to Carl Perkins funding, there's certain documents that need to be completed. And conversations with industry representatives in the region. So he kind of does all the back end work on that to allow us to gain access to those funds. It also allows us, there's like 2 individuals from CESA5 who support youth apprenticeship, some of the connections and paperwork piece. So although Connor does a lot of that here locally for us, we also work with their youth apprenticeship side of the organization, so it gets us access to those 2 components. The benefit though is we actually get access to funding because of putting in that funding.
Right.
Makes sense.
I have a question about it also. So the audiology for $7,840 says quantity 140. Is that 140 hearing tests?
So it's, the way that they break down the cost is by units. So for this specific one, those are units of services that are provided for students. So there will be 140 units of service provided for the students in our school district during the 25-26 school year. That's the projection.
But so audiology doesn't mean hearing tests?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So it's hearing tests,
That's
it's
what I meant.
managing the devices that some students use. Yes, sorry, was answering the wrong question.
That's okay.
And a unit would be similar to, I guess, what I'm familiar with at my work is like PT, OT, speech, they go in, their unit of time is like 40 minutes.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's, it's
Okay.
not, yeah. So like one unit would be 40 minutes.
Yep, they're usually about 30 minutes per unit.
Okay.
And then this overall bill is less in Lodi than it is in other districts because we have so many staff covering a lot of these services that are offered by CESA 5.
I mean, yeah, look at all of them that we don't really take it, we don't
Right.
need, we manage, yeah.
Because talking to other districts, they're like, our CESA 5 bill is way up here.
Right.
That's nice.
Ours is very low.
That's awesome. And I like it because it's projected too, so it's not like we're just paying it and it's like, oh, I hope we use it. They are literally charging us for what we're using, which is nice. Okay.
I will make a motion to approve CESA5 contract as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. State convention.
As Heather mentioned in her report, we went to the State Education Convention this year. The district had 6 board members attend. We were part of 3 different presentations, and the high school had an a cappella group, the Breakfast Club, performed at the start of the final general session of the convention. So the group was one of 3 school districts from across the state who were asked to perform. The district was part of the following 3 presentations: how to build business partnerships in rural school districts. Joe, Nick, and myself did that one. Don't miss the boat, your passport to staffing hard to fill positions. I was a part of that with University of Wisconsin and Boardman and Clark. And school marketing made easy, I was a part of that one with our school marketing, social schools for EDU, for our, that we use for social media. So just, asking people what their highlights were for the convention.
Go Chris.
Chris! I have several. I thought the speakers, every day, those speakers got better. And I really thought Joe San Filipino,
yeah,
he was amazing. I'm following
He is.
him on X now.
Yeah.
And he's put out a few videos. He was great. I ran into my mom's cousin from Port Edwards, which was great. I didn't realize she was the business manager there. But I sort of tagged along with Terry with the delegate group. And after sitting through the pre-delegate time, and then in the, what was that? The gallery where I was, because I couldn't be on the floor. I tell you, we have an amazing district, and we have an amazing board. I think we are, and I think Lodi and our school district, our community, I say it all the time, we really have a great thing here. We are quite special when it comes to the things that we're able to do for our students, for our staff. It just makes me think, man, what are some of these districts going through? Because,
Yeah, when you go to
you know, when
something
you,
like that,
especially
you
the
see all that
delegate
other,
thing,
yeah.
it's like, what? I mean, it's mind-blowing to me that we really have a very,
This group works to
Yeah.
stay informed.
and we really have a special
And we
thing
are well
here.
informed, because we have
Yeah, absolutely.
a team that
So,
informs us.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I
Sometimes
was
I just-
real,
No, go on.
I was real proud going to the Vince, Joe, and Nick presentation, and people just were lapping it up, and we're like, oh,
'Cause it was good.
Just what we do. It's what they do.
No, I was sitting there, I was like, I want this in my district, I want this, I want that, and it was just like, we already have this.
Yeah. No, and then I feel like, I kind of feel guilty. Not that I mean, I should be reading up on other districts. I try to at some point, but a lot of times people are like, oh, you're from Lodi. Oh my good things are happening there. And I'm like, yeah. How's your district? Like, sorry. Like, you know, I mean, but, so obviously we're like, you know, getting out there too, that we're not the only ones that think that we're pretty awesome, but.
Right.
But no, there's just so much, like, I went to a WIA one, which was very interesting, like, you know, school, what WIA does, and then what the schools do, you know, and I think that got a little heated more than people were assuming. I know the public,
WIAA.
the public and the private sector got really a lot of questions there, which I have opinion on too, but whatever, I didn't say anything. But, and then just the staff appreciation, which I thought was interesting. We do a lot too, but I was like, oh. Joe kept eyeing me up on that one and was like, Heather, you taking notes? I noticed that. What other one? I had my notes and I left my paper at home. What other one did I want to talk about? Oh, I always go to the WASB resolution, or the
Legislative updates.
yeah, and sometimes I walk out of there more confused than when I went.
That's
but
why we rely on
try.
Nick a lot.
Yes, I do. And yeah, and Nick, I do have
And
questions for you
Vince
by at some point. But no, there's just like, I just love looking through the list, and there's just so many different aspects that you can go to and try to, and the community engagement, I thought they were awesome presenting, and they're saying all this stuff. And the one thing is like, yeah, we have this community engagement, you know, and community members can come in, and they had like a picture, and there was some people in there, and I was like, how many people did you get there for that? They're like, not many. And I was like, oh, okay.
So it's not just us.
Yeah, it's not just us. That's what I said. I was like, oh, okay. Because I was thinking, oh my, how did they get people there? They're like, we had like 12 people. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, but we still try, and that's what they said. They're like, we still offer it, and that's what we do. But no, I just love it, and I just think it's great for us, all of us too. You know, there's some bonding time there for sure. There's just more conversation than the typical. I have a question about the curriculum, you know. But yeah, so thank you, community, for letting us do that.
Joe, what was Joe's last name at the end?
Salafabino?
Yeah, Salafabino. His just, you wanted to give him an oxygen mask.
Yeah.
How did he keep going that fast? But just pointing out how all the wonderful stuff that happens here.
Yeah.
And getting that out over and over and over and over again. It's such a great idea.
Tell your story.
Tell your story.
And Scott, I wanted to bring like a flat Scott with us, but I never made one. You would have been with us. Yeah, I would have had him tower. He would have been flopping over, you know. So we won't do it this time.
And then two of the presentations I went to had student presenters, and it was just
Yeah,
amazing to
I
hear
had-
students present, professionally present. It was great.
Yeah.
Telling their stories.
Do you want to go?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that, it kind of, what kept resonating with me through the whole time I was there, the different presentations I went to and conversations with people, was that it seems like the district is already doing
like 90+% of everything.
Like 90,
I mean,
but
the
oh.
ideas that people were talking about that were like innovative, that's already happening, and then,
Yeah.
I really also appreciated the opportunity to get to know people on the board and the district better, learn more get to know people on a little bit more of a personal level, because that does build, community. Personally, I learned to play a new card game, which I will tell you, I went home and nobody at home believed me, because they're like, Mom, you suck at cards. I'm like, well, guess what? And then my son goes, it must be an easy card game. I was like, well, it was
fun.
but it's still, I have a new one in my back pocket. And the other thing was, I really enjoyed that the governor came, and as he mentioned, it sounded like he's been going longer than anybody else that had been in the room, and he goes annually, and that to me also, sort of illuminated the fact that this is a very important
what is he up to?
conference, 43 years or something.
He's an educator.
And so, right, I mean, but he's been doing it his entire career, and now he's at the pinnacle, and he still wants to come and be there, so I was really, it made me feel even more proud to be there, so thank you.
Yeah.
I loved all of it, and I told my bosses it's the best money they never invested in me, because thank you, School
Yes.
District of Lodi. Because I went into work on that Monday just like ready to teach. I was just so excited. I couldn't wait to get in there and just be so positive, because that's how the whole thing felt. The biggest thing from the different things that I attended, besides for the main speakers, is like the things that would keep me awake at night, worrying about. It's like, people are actually working on this stuff. So it was like a relief to me. So like things that I think about and worry about, there was something in there that covered every one of them. So I learned a lot. I'm able to use a lot, actually take it to my job. I think probably my family even was like, wow, we're so happy. It's like, it was amazing to me. It really was.
Was it Clint Swindell that was, I took something to my job, because we do our morning stand-up meeting every morning at 8:30, it's all the different department heads and everything. And it was, tell me something good. Can we start with that, because it can get so negative sometimes, and it was, tell me something good. So I've tried to, a lot of people don't, but I will, that's what I do now, is I pass somebody in the hallway, or, even the residents that, that we take care of, or, that live there, tell me something good. Yeah.
My highlight was seeing students perform, right?
Oh,
Just every year
yes.
being
Oh,
there,
man.
seeing music performance, and actually having our students, and seeing how excited our board was. They were groupies.
Yeah, we were right in front.
So they went down and reserved seats, just like you would at a concert or
Those
anything
are
else.
early.
So they were in there by 8 o'clock and had seats put on. And then always just to see the board members spending time with each other, and administrators, and just to seeing you grow in your relationships, because it matters here, right? We have tough decisions, but you also know that building those relationships, just like we got done talking with the different buildings, like how they grow relationships. It's important, so when you make those tough decisions, you still have those relationships to trust each other, to make hard decisions, and you don't always have to agree with each other, but you also know that you're all coming from a place of a good place. That's, it's the best interest of students, because you have to trust that's gonna happen to get to the best decisions we're going to. So I just appreciate you taking the time to do it, and
I have one more thing. Mo, thank you so much for all you do for us to get there, and
Organizing
all the organization.
You're like our
all
mom.
that. Thank you.
know that we can text or call.
Probably old enough for that too, so.
I didn't mean it like that, I'm just saying, we can text you and you fix all of our problems.
Literally.
Yes.
And we did miss you, Scott.
We did.
Well, mahalo for going.
Okay, wait, I have one more thing. I also got locked in the bathroom. I forgot about that. Oh, I probably don't have to tell all of those people that, but
or the community.
if I didn't have my cell phone,
She'd still be there.
I'd still be there. He had to go get maintenance to rescue me.
Well,
And then-
I thought Vince was gonna say his favorite part was when he beat us twice at the game and said, I'm
I'm
out.
out.
Like,
Mic drop.
Oh, and one of our staff members' brothers worked at the hotel.
oh, that's right, yeah.
Yep.
So,
No, it was a good time.
Very cool.
Yeah, lots of information, which is awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing that information, because I think it's important for the community here that, you know, you guys went and that it was time well spent.
Yeah, no, for
So-
sure.
That it was.
All right, so we have policies.
What a change.
I know.
yeah, what a change.
Yeah,
I
right,
know.
so, policy met on Thursday, February 7th, to review the most recent updates recommended from Neola. The committee reviewed and unanimously approved 29 policies, administrative guidelines to the board with recommendation of approval. The committee also reviewed and unanimously moved one policy and one administrative guideline to the full board with a recommendation to rescind one policy and one administrative guideline. I've also added to the board agenda that wasn't to the policy committee was rescinding a form related to those other two that have been rescinded, Form FON 2264, which was not on the policy agenda. There was a memo in there explaining why all those things needed to be rescinded because of the changes that are happening with Title IX across the country. We still had both Title IX policies in there from 2020 and the 2024. The 2024 ones are now being rescinded. So now we just continue to follow 2020. We just had to make a couple tweaks to it, and we're just following it.
We're a well-oiled machine on that committee, I will say.
Good, thank you guys.
I don't know, reading this particular, it just was like mind-numbing to get through.
Yes.
There was a lot.
Mind-numbing.
So typically what happens, Neola will give us policies, like they give us a chunk, and the ones that are really easy to do, go to the first time, right? And the other ones sometimes have to go to like, business office, or to curriculum instruction, or the food service, or have people, Tyler, somebody look at them, so it takes more time. But so they're a little more.
And I will let you know, Adam,
Yeah.
all those, what are they
Citations?
called? Citations, at the end of, I look everyone up to make
She
sure.
does, she looks every one
Good
of
job.
them. No, she's
I don't read the
very thorough.
crossed out words. I just want you to know that.
For you,
You don't have to.
6110, 6110, you crossed out federal and all of the things except the title. Just- I don't know if you
I
wanted
didn't
to.
cross them out.
Somebody.
Neola did.
Neola did, but the
Oh.
title still says federal, so
Oh, the title for copy of federal funds, so it should probably,
be the title too.
I would follow whatever Neola has.
Okay, that's fine. That was the only thing I could see.
Oh, it should
I
say-
think
it
that
should- it
type
should-
of
It should say
motion-
grant funds.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, grant funds.
Yep, I'll change it to grant funds.
do we need to make a
Yeah,
motion
I'd like to
with that
make a
change?
motion to
We'll
approve the
just make it that
administrative guidelines and policy revisions as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Teresa, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Gifts and, oh, yes, gifts and donations.
I'll make a motion to accept with great gratitude the donation of $500 from Linda Boucher, to be applied to purchasing and replacing a decodable set books for the kindergarten team.
I'll second.
Motion by Adam, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? Except, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Committee reports. CESA5.
So we're evaluating Jeremy right now, the person who runs CESA5. So that's most of the stuff. But he also gave us Wisconsin Data Hub, which kind of got set aside quickly, and so we didn't get a good explanation. Apparently, all of the school districts fill out surveys that help other school districts. That's what I got out of it.
Yep, we use it.
On all kinds of topics. I'll just pass it around so you can see.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, just
So that's what we discussed.
random, oh, okay, dental insurance, health insurance, all right. Interesting.
Surveys on all kinds of stuff that all the districts participate in, and then they collate it. So if this district wants to know about one of those things, they can go there and get that info.
So CESA5's always done that. So now CESA5 is trying to make it big event in the state. If you participate, then you can share that information.
Get the information.
Yeah, so easy, because we're always saying, Vince, what do other districts do?
Sometimes I can pull it from that, sometimes we have to do survey.
All right, well, thank you, Adam. Sure. Our co-curricular items and report.
co-curricular?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
There's a ghost.
Last time I couldn't even read it because I was sick. Now I'm just throwing stuff all going around. Thank you. You're so nice. Okay, wrestling. Lodi Wrestling has had a successful last few weeks on the mat. On Saturday, February 1st, Lodi hosted the Terry Conklin Duels, winning 2 rounds out of 5. Senior Tony Omosebi had a particular good day, going 5-0. Wow. This past weekend, Lodi traveled to the Capital Conference Tournament at Lakeside Lutheran. The Blue Devils took home their 40th conference championship in school history in a dominant performance. Owen Dorshorst, Noah Allen, Briar Cades, Brady Dorshorst, Zoe Licht, and Mara Lane all took home individual conference championships. Next up is regionals at Richland Center, with the girls competing on Friday night and the boys competing on Saturday. The boys basketball team has an overall record of 13-5 and a conference record of 4-1. Last Friday night, the boys had a dominant 85-48 win against neighboring Poinet, starting the game with a quick 20-0 run. Earlier in the week, the Blue Devils also had a home victory over New Glarus and had a tough nail-biting loss to Wisconsin Dells by a score of 53-54. Lodi will host Reedsburg on Tuesday night and will travel to Columbus on Thursday. I also like to say that the JV basketball boys team is 15-1, and when they had parents' night last week, I was at the game but left when it was over. I love my child, and he walked by himself. And he came home and told me how embarrassed he was. I said, well, I didn't know that it was parents' night. He said, neither did I. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so there, it's out there. I went to curling for 3 hours when I got done work, and then I went to my son's basketball game, and then I left, and then he walked by himself. That's recorded. Yeah. I'm sorry, Misael. Okay, girls basketball. The girls basketball team has an overall record of 11-8 and a conference record of 2-3. Recent highlights include a 48-36 win over Columbus and a 47-39 win over Lake Mills. This week, the girls travel to Lakeside Lutheran on Tuesday night and to Lake Mills on Friday night. Boys hockey, the South Central Navigators hockey team is 6-14 with a conference record of 3-9. Recent wins include a 3-2 win over West Salem, Bangor, and a 6-1 win over Oshkosh North. Navigators will host Monroe on Tuesday night for their final home game of the season. They secured a number 12 seed in the WIAA playoffs and will compete in the first round of the playoffs February 18th against Sun Prairie. Mock trial. Lodi Mock Trial had a historic day at the regional tournament on Saturday, February 1st. For the first time in school history, we talked about this, Lodi claimed both first and second place at the regional competition. Varsity team went 4-0 on the day, winning every judge's ballot. The JV team had a great day, taking second place overall. The varsity team will head to state tournament on March 7th and 8th at the Dane County Courthouse. Forensics on Monday, February 3rd, the forensics team hosted the Capital Conference Tournament. Lodi Forensics team took home the conference championship with Emily Tenbarge, Blake Simpson, Andy Lemke, Chase Mass, Bentley Smith, Sasha Rudinitsky, and Jalen Breinig taking home individual conference championships. The forensics team will host the Lodi tournament this coming Saturday at the high school.
Awesome. Thank you. I just have a question. When did the hockey team change to the South Central Navigators?
Just last year.
OSC.
All right, so our last meeting was on January 15th. There was, to start out with a presentation with Dr. Carls. He presented OSC's State Accountability Report Card and noted great improvements, particularly in student growth. Some other updates, winter assessments are finishing up and report cards will be going home soon. High school students from the Music Man musical came and helped students transition back to school and understand what it means to be determined to be our best. Students have topics for their big projects and they're gathering information, and they're conducting family interviews as part of this process. Field studies and resident experts have been taking place for the field studies. Dr. Drake from UW-Madison. There was a cedar burn with the ASH Trail Alliance, a UW entomologist cooking class, and Miss Weber. Parent-teacher conferences will be coming up here in a couple of days. And for OSC fundraising, it was really fun. We all got to taste test the OSC lemonade jam, or jelly, excuse me, it's jelly, not jam. And it was delicious. It was determined how many more supplies will need to be purchased so that Ann and a Jam can make a substantial supply before we can start selling the jelly. Piggly Wiggly is doing a roundup, so hopefully they are asking you to round up for OSC when you were there.
For this month?
This last month.
Yeah, this past month.
Okay.
And then OSC Charter Renewal Committee, they met on January 13th and have continued to go through the charter document. It is taking longer than we'd hoped. And our next meeting will be on February 12th as an overall OSC board meeting. And the Charter Renewal Committee just met on the 3rd. So we'll have more updates coming on that soon. So,
Wow, thank you.
Sure.
Board committee reports, personnel.
Personnel committee met last week. Topics discussed included the staff engagement session that Adam and Vince participated in recently on January 30th, where they discussed a number of topics with staff members, including insurance, virtual day expectations, national board certification, clarification on the district-wide policy on school threats, professional improvement plans, clarification on compensation for the SLO and PPG, calendar and staff PTO. It's too bad you guys couldn't talk about a few more things. It did take a while, but it was really good conversation. Yes. We briefly discussed compensation. Consumer price index has been certified at 2.95%, and the committee will use this to help guide us in regards to possible compensation increases moving forward. Majority of the meeting was involved in what we discussed in closed session earlier tonight.
Thanks, Scott. Curriculum.
Okay, so the curriculum committee met and we had Leo Olson come from the school forest and talked about the school forest, and that a couple of years ago it was 50 students and now 561 students access the school forest this year for classes. Various grade levels, 4K, 1st, 2nd, 5th, and OSC have already visited, and plans for the spring for 6th, 9th, and 10th graders. So, again, they are looking to use the school forest not just for science, but also including social emotional learning, reading, writing lessons, poetry, social studies, mapping, photography, team building, and athletic teams. Future goals are to develop a K-12 scope and sequence to ensure a structured experience for all students, increase student professional development, or teacher professional development to promote the forest as a resource across all disciplines, and exploring more funding and logistical support. And accessibility challenges continue to be worked on. The next, Michelle Howe came and talked about the science curriculums and how they're going across elementary, middle, and high school. Upcoming events are the middle school science fair in April. And anyway, it was just a lot of fun to listen to all the things that's happening in science. And then I went and visited the middle school and I sat through Sarah Hook's science class and got to see the use of the just different materials they're using with the science projects they're doing, and how quickly it just rolls along. And I was so excited. I was back in science again and I loved it. That was my favorite class coming out of Catholic grade school, was when I got to Lodi science class. So, okay, and then Mr. Potter came, Tyler came, and gave us a really great presentation on AI. I have to say, I really enjoyed that presentation. It was very helpful, and we discussed data privacy. I mean, there's just a lot coming down the pike with all of this, and that's one of the things that when we were at the state conference that I went to, a couple of things on AI and policies and uses and privacy, et cetera. So there's a lot to be done, but we, thank goodness, have Tyler and we have Nick. So, and then Life Skills wants to add to the curriculum, more digital, about digital safety and cyberbullying, and also more digital, teaching them about sexual harassment and what that is and safety on digital media. And that's it.
Busy, busy. Thank you. Facility and finance.
So Heather, you keep saying that people in the community are welcome to come to these committee meetings and stuff, and we had 3 come for public input. Yeah,
Yes. That's kind of what we made. I was just watching that meeting and I was like, oh my gosh, we have public input. It's kind of exciting.
So Chad Beavers, Matthew Brynick, and Mandy Paskey came and presented to public input on adding batting cages and maintenance of the baseball and softball fields on Highway 60, and then making more space available for the soccer club that they have. So that was really nice. The other nice thing about the meeting was it wasn't really, really long either. So that was nice.
Just wait.
Sorry. The high school roof projects are going forward, and so that's all in the process now and will be carried out this summer. A lot more work to be done, but it's starting now, so. And then there's a facility study where Dr. Brynig was talking about the importance of bringing the community in and getting them as part of this facility study and how to set that up and then how to get partners to help us do that. We talked about the school forest and the school forest parking lot and how that's going and the driveway into to the school forest. Jason talked about the food service and how that's coming up for renewal or change, and the RFPs are going out. And so we'll be moving forward, putting together a committee of staff and a parent and some students and administrators to figure out what kind of food service we go with in the future. And then the foster and foster proposal that we talked about in closed session. We had a long discussion about that also.
Everybody's so busy. Okay, thank you. And last but not least, policy.
We approved everything that we discussed.
And conquered.
Yeah.
I think you should talk about every policy.
These people over
Thank
here.
you, guys. Yeah, administration would kill us. Okay, so our next regular school board meeting is Monday, March 10th at 5:30 with closed session, 6:30 is open session. Our personnel committee is Thursday, March 6th at 4:30. Our policy committee is Thursday, March 6th at 6 o'clock. Curriculum committee is Tuesday, February 18th at 4:30. And facility and finance is Tuesday, February 18th at 6 p.m. And like I said, all are welcome. And I believe we do not need to go into closed session. Would someone like to?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second.
Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye, aye, aye.
Motion passes 7-0.